here on the EmPower Hour today with special guest Amber Hall. I'm so excited to have Amber on today. She was my classmate at the University of Florida Law School, and we're talking about having your own business and being a woman in a male-dominated field, which is personal injury law, what we all do. So very exciting. Welcome, Amber. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Very excited. I've been looking forward to this.
It's going to be fun. Well, let me introduce our panel real quick, and then we'll hop into our drink of the day. We have our wonderful PR professional, Kia Thomas. What's up, Kia?
Hey there. Hi, Amber.
Kia. Hello, Kia.
And then, of course, my law partners, Rose Caswick and Betsy Brown.
Hey, Rose. Hey, Betsy.
Hey, Amber.
All right. So every week, Rose makes us a drink.
Yeah.
And this one is particularly spicy. Why don't you tell us?
So it was
about
not worth it, is what you're telling me?
It's great.
So yeah, this drink, I was looking to do something in honor of the new Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji, I think, Ketanji, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, sorry, Brown Jackson. And I found this drink, which was somebody came up with to honor when Sonia Sotomayor was nominated, or when she was confirmed. So this is a strawberry and black pepper sour martini. So it's got muddled strawberries and it's got black pepper and lemon and simple syrup and tequila. So, and I made an unholy mess in the kitchen just now making it, like strawberry goo everywhere. So I hope it's good. I haven't even tried it yet. I am still like coming down from the situation that making this drink was. So,
Well, cheers, and cheers to our new Supreme Court nominee.
yeah.
Exciting.
Cheers.
Time. I'm not going to drink it again, though, because I took a sip and the pepper is.
The pepper is intense. Okay. Good to know. Take that note.
Delicious.
Oh, man. Well, let's kick it back to Amber. So, Amber, tell us, just kind of give us your background, your history.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised right here, Tallahassee, Florida, and went to Leon High School. Shout out to Leon, go Lions. I was actually playing basketball. I got really serious about it in high school. So I was recruited and decided to go to Virginia Tech and play collegiate basketball. So I went there for undergrad, majored in business, and then decided to differentiate my business background and go to law school. Shout out to my parents for saying, you should really consider law school, even though I was totally thinking about just getting my MBA and moving in a different direction. So I decided to apply and I got into University of Florida Law School. So go Gators. And that's where I first met Kimmy at law school. So that is a little bit about my background. And then once I actually had the idea that I was going to do a non-traditional career in the law, especially with my basketball background. I was thinking I would be an agent or, maybe even work as an administrator at a college or university and, get into the athletic department. But then my first job out of law school ended up being at a personal injury law firm. So it was, in Atlanta, based in Atlanta, but handling all of their Florida cases. And so at that firm is where I was essentially thrown into the fire and learned a lot very quickly. And that gave me the confidence that I needed to say, you know what, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to hang out my own shingle and start my own firm.
I love it.
That's
I
awesome.
love it. And how long have you been doing that now?
So now 8 years, time is flying. Yeah, about 8 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that sounds other than being an athlete, not an athlete, a lot like my sort of path of, I went to undergrad for business. I was like, what? You can do so many things with a business degree and you can do so many things with a law degree. And together, there's so many options. So that's awesome. And I'm a Gator too.
Yes, go Gators.
And, going out on your own is such a big step. Like that's, always everybody's like, that's always an option. Like just hang out your own shingle, you can do it. And that terrified me, coming out of law school. But sounds like you got some good grounding, and kind of what gave you the confidence to make that move out on your own?
Faith, having a lot of faith, but I really, really have to give it up to my parents, my mom and my dad, they are truly my support system.
Awesome.
My mom is so positive. She's just a motivator, highly inspirational, highly motivational. My dad as well. They're, entrepreneurs. We have small businesses in the family. And so it's like I knew that I was always going to somehow start a business. I didn't know what that business would be, but I figured one day I'll surely start a business, and it just happened to be a law firm. So yeah, just having that confidence and saying, you know what, I got this. No matter what, I'm going to do it. And so I can remember the day actually when I was, contemplating this move, and my parents came up to Atlanta. We had lunch across the street from the law firm that I was working with at the time. And my dad looked at me and he said, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You can do this.
What are you going to do? And my mom and then I just looked at my mom. She said nothing, but it was this look of, you got this. Like, what are you waiting for? And so that was the day I said, I'm going to do it.
I love it. And running your own business, particularly a law firm, comes with, you're wearing so many different hats. You're not just being a lawyer, you're also managing the firm, you're an advertiser, you're a budgeter, right? You're doing all
HR, everything falls on you.
Everything, wearing all the hats. And, a lot of times, like I said, it breaks up the monotony, so to speak. Not that it's that monotonous, but of just being the lawyer, you get to kind of get into the advertising and learning more about that, which is a whole different ball game. I feel like I'm learning something new every day about marketing and websites and things of that nature, operations, HR. So I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm forcing myself to, learn about topics that, frankly, I never thought I would really have to learn about. But here we are. So,
all in one. Yeah.
All in one.
I love it. So when you were playing basketball in college, you ended up being the captain of the team. Is that right?
Captain of the team for 2 years in a row. Yes.
Do you feel like that has helped you in being able to lead from your practice and feel confident and doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. Being team captain, working with individuals, from all areas, people from across the country. Everybody has a different personality. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has their own strength. And so, being able to hopefully, lead the team to victory, whether we lost that game or whether we won that game, still being able to show up every single day, have a strategy, have a plan, and then the goal being to lead the team to victory. So I absolutely think that truly helped me to be able to, lead the firm, lead the business.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Betsy Brown. Have you met Betsy before, Amber?
Betsy, I feel like I've seen your face, but I think this is the first time we're meeting. So very nice to meet you, Betsy.
Worked for a lot of years, and but I was racking my brain thinking if we ever had a case, but I don't think we did. But it's great to meet you.
No, great to meet you too.
Yeah, so I have a question. So as I used to play basketball, so I really,
yes,
I love that, idea of playing for a major university and getting to travel with the team and all the fun stuff that goes along with that. And it occurred to me that you did that, and you probably saw a lot of really cool places and did a lot of things while you were, traveling for these basketball games. So what brought you back to Tallahassee? I mean, I know you worked in Atlanta for a period of time, but what inspired you to come back home?
This is home. It's home. I'm family oriented, family's here. And I decided, well, if I start the firm, I think it's a good idea to just go back home where everything started. So that brought me back.
Cool.
That's nice. And I bet that helps too, having connections in the community, because especially personal injury law, it's one where there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of lawyers that do this work, and there's people advertise a whole lot. So as a sole practitioner, I bet you're doing a lot of grassroots advertising. Although I have to say, I have seen your billboards.
They're
You look
awesome.
great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I
you
was
so
gonna
much.
say that. I was going to say, I love the one where you're holding the basketball.
Thank you. It had been in my mind forever. Like even probably like first couple of weeks of even starting the firm, I was like, one day, you know, when I have a little bit of a budget, something, I'm gonna try and make that come to fruition and do like a basketball campaign. But yeah, at home, you know, we have a family barbershop. So, you know, Gillum Brothers Barbershop. You know, we have a family funeral home, a lot of small businesses in town. So I figured I'm gonna go home. That's where, you know, people know me. And honestly, when I came back home and I started my firm initially, everyone was like, wait, aren't you playing overseas or aren't you still playing basketball? And this was like years after I graduated. And I'm like, I am so not playing basketball anymore, although I miss it a lot. And I wish I was still in shape to run up and down the court like that. But I was like, no, no, no. I actually went to law school. I started a firm. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
so that's the thing about being home too, is kind of catching people up on what you're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
is where
play
your
overseas?
network is.
No, so I thought about it, but I never played overseas. We did travel overseas, played some games over there against some pro teams. So that was fun. But I guess I knew deep down inside, like as much as I love the game of basketball, I knew that I really just wanted to strike out into the world of entrepreneurship, the business world, and just kind of make my way in that arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let me kick it over to Kia Thomas. Kia, what are you thinking?
A lot. I'll just start with this. You know, how do you map out your game plan for maneuvering through this landscape? You know, we already know that, you know, they like to say that this is a, you know, male dominated arena. So what's your game plan? You're starting off and going through that.
I guess my game plan, rule number one, be yourself. You know, be yourself, make no apologies for who you are, and just to be true to yourself. I would say that's rule number one as far as the game plan. And then also, you know, setting goals, setting high goals, you know, keeping the vision alive, because I think that's one thing when you're in business, you never know what's going to happen with the case or whatever, the economy, you know, issues within our country, you just never know. And so another part of that is, you know, setting the high goals, staying positive. Sounds a little, you know, cliche, so to speak. Sounds like an Instagram post or a social media post, like be positive, you know, you can do it, all that. But it's real. It's like, you know, the manifestation of, you know, thinking it and believing it into existence. So that's a huge part of the game plan for me, is seeing the vision. And a lot of people won't necessarily see your vision, but that's okay. And then just moving forward. The 1% rule, I was reading a book, it escapes me now the name of the book, but just getting better every day. Even if it's 1%, that's cool. At least I'm getting better little by little each day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, because you are a sole practitioner, what are you doing to elevate your game, so to speak, right? Because
Yes.
there's not other attorneys in your own law firm that you turn to, right? So I'm guessing,
Yes.
and I know that I used to hang out with you at FJA events, so I bet you're plugging into a lot of those organizations. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the key there is just being resourceful. So FJA, you know, joining other, you know, groups. So the Florida Justice Association, for those who may be watching, it's an organization for plaintiffs, attorneys who do what we do. And these are attorneys all over the state of Florida. And so through, you know, email listservs or through whatever it might be, you can all, you know, help is one phone call away. So I just try to be really resourceful there. I do believe that you have to invest in yourself. So I believe, you know, I try to go to as many CLEs as I possibly can. like that workforce seminar FJA does, even the ones across the country, AAJ. I really, really try to go to those conferences so that I can keep up with what's happening, because our field changes, the law changes all the time, strategy changes. I like to listen to other attorneys who got that big verdict or that big settlement and what they did to get there. Mm-hmm. So I just really try to stay abreast on, what's going on. And if it's a conference and I'm looking at the agenda and it's what I need to know, I'm there. I will make it my business to get there. But yeah, I say just being resourceful. And then, the old fashioned way of just picking up a book. I order a lot of books, books on damages, books on depositions, books on, hearings, even trying to watch people, CVN network, you can, watch trials, or if I hear about a trial in town, somebody has, I'll try to show up and listen and support. But I just think the key is to just, try to do something every day to get better. And then that goes for business too. I actually ran into Jimmy and Kia in Atlanta. It was a marketing conference. So, it was a lot of lawyers, the lawyer marketing, but still, that's another way to keep up with the times. And as everybody knows, social media marketing, it changes like on a daily. So that was really invaluable information.
That's the awesome thing I think about being a plaintiff's lawyer is that we're all in it together, kind of. It's like we compete, to get the cases, but once somebody has a great case, like we will throw everything at each other, another firm, another town, another whatever to support them, because we do not have the lobbyists, the insurance company money, all that stuff. So it's us against the world.
That's right. It seems that way.
It does, yeah. And I wanted to ask you about being a woman in this industry. You're out there on your own as a woman. I met you in person. You are tall, you are intimidating, you've got the hair, and you're always perfectly dressed and with the heels. Do you find that people
thank you
like respond to you in a weird way, or do you have any like impressions on how people respond to that image that you've got going on?
So one thing that I say is, you really cannot control how people perceive you. Mm-hmm. Just can't. But it goes back to just being you, being your true self, being authentic. Funny story. I am tall, like Rose said, so I'm 6'2" without heels. And with the heels, I'm probably about 6'6". And so it's interesting, especially pre-pandemic when everything was in person, right. I may have an opponent, attorney that's, not very tall, and they definitely will say something about it. You're wearing your heels. I even had one male attorney tell me, Amber, you can't wear your heels around me. It's like, what? But this is who I am. Yeah. So, but it's interesting just being confident in who you are. Certainly when I was growing up and I was taller than a lot of my friends, I went through that period where, I remember saying, I don't know if I want to grow. I don't want to really be tall. I don't know how I feel about it. I can't find jeans that are long enough. It was all this stuff. And then as I grew, especially when I play basketball, in my position, I play like in the post. So, the center, the forward position, people tend to be taller. And so as I was getting recruited and I want to go D1, I want to go to these top schools, actually, 6'1", 6'2", there were other women's basketball players that were much taller than me, much stronger than me, so in that world, it's like, it's nothing, but in this world, it's a little different.
It's funny how those things that are, you're so insecure about or self-conscious about become assets.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly how you have to look at it is, we can call them flaws or whatever it is, flaws and all. It's like, I am who I am. This is the way that God made me. And, you just have to own it. Own who you are.
Absolutely.
I have to say that when we were in law school, I was so impressed by you because you're not trying to shrink down to fit short people, right? You're standing up tall, big heels, right? Like you're not trying to be smaller. You're taking up your space. And I always thought it was awesome. I was like, yes, get
Thank
it,
you.
Amber Hall. Get
Thank
it.
Thank you, Kimmy. I just feel, you have to be really comfortable, in your own skin. Be confident, be you, own it. And that we see that, we hear it all the time, that is your superpower. You are your superpower. That's the beauty of it. There is no one on the planet who can do you, who can be you like you can do it. So, I mean, it's like, why waste time trying to be somebody else? Like, no way.
That's the truth. Betsy, I saw you raising your hand a while back.
Yeah, I have so much.
Just
But
barge in like me.
just to tack on to that, I mean, it's so empowering when you can embrace who you are. And I think like when you can embrace who you are and love who you are and make it work for you, the second part of your life begins. And
Absolutely.
I can totally see how you've done that. But I wanted to say, like, I'm a big reader too. So when you said you read books about depositions and hearings and all that stuff, like I'm like the office law nerd. So I'm the one who reads all the the
Yes.
docket. Somebody gets a big verdict, read the docket. If somebody writes a book, gonna read their book. If someone writes an article, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna spread it all around if it's useful. So I love that. And I love that you mentioned that you read that book, Getting Better Every Day. I haven't read that, but I want to, because it seems like you have managed to get to a place in your life where you don't let setbacks get you down. No. So what advice as an empowered woman do you have for other women who, are struggling right now?
The advice that I have is to understand that if you're going through a tough time, that too shall pass. I also would say that the challenges make you better, they make you stronger. You just have to hang in there. A lot of times something can appear to be a setback or a challenge, but really it's something that is actually helping to propel you forward. So when I was working at the firm in Atlanta, there was a lot going on. I was busy. I mean, a lot of stuff, big cases. I was just kind of thrown in there, learning, going against all these veterans in the game. And then one day it hit me. I was like, but this is making me better. Mm-hmm. As stressed out as I am, as nervous as I might be going into this deposition, with this veteran attorney, I know that when I get to the other side, I'm going to be a beast, beast mode. Like, so I guess the advice that I have is, don't back down. And it's okay to have your moment, but like my mom always told me, you may have a setback or two. There may be something that comes your way. There's a challenge and it takes you down a little bit, but don't ever let yourself get so far down that you cannot pick yourself back up. So I just kind of, that's what I would say, is keep going.
Such a great point about the challenges that we face in our career making us better.
Absolutely.
Some of the cases that I've had in my career that have been the most like anxiety inducing and stressful have been the ones that I've learned the most on, and the ones that made me a more formidable attorney for the next case. And so just keeping that frame of mind is so important. That yes, I'm miserable right now, but when this is over, I'm going to be able to look back at all the lessons I learned and apply them. And next time I'll know what to do. And next time I'll know
Absolutely
exactly what I'm doing in this kind of situation and can apply it to others. So that's a great point.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel the same way. Those tough cases where, every minute, every second, there's something new, some other challenge. Yeah, absolutely. It makes you better. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it feels like you kind of get our slogan here, come back stronger, because it's the truth. These setbacks do propel us if we can keep the right frame of mind about it. When I look back at the setbacks in my life personally, I can see that they were really opportunities and they opened doors, and so that's a great thing to point out to people.
Absolutely. And I like that. It's an opportunity. And I believe those opportunities provide us with choices. The saying, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. So if something happens, it's like, okay, I have options here. and you just move from there. So yeah,
and you learn
I love
how to
that.
roll with the punches, you know, like pivot.
You do.
Okay,
Yeah.
this
You
happened.
do. And I look,
So-
yeah, I look at the growth. You know, when Kimmy was asking me how long I've been doing this, I kind of drew a blank, but definitely 8 years. And I think about like when I started and how a very small, tiny, minute thing would have me just stressed. And now like that same issue probably would not even come close to being on my radar screen. You know, yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's the time you get stronger, you learn more. And then it's kind of like that book, you know, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. A lot of it's small.
all small, yeah.
Yeah, it's a distraction. That's all.
You said something else that I resonated with me about, like, when you were a young attorney, when you go up against veteran attorneys, and I remember that feeling because you don't feel like you're equal to the task, like you're an imposter, right? But I learned that when I was a young attorney that I would prepare better than any of them. And I was going to go in there
Yes.
knowing the law, and I was going to go in there and I was going to, you know, out prepare them every time. And to me, that was kind of like the great equalizer. And I try to remember that even now, as I've been doing this many years now, that you can't assume anything about anybody, right? You can never underestimate a younger attorney or a less experienced attorney, because you do so at your own peril. Because I used to be that attorney, and I got to tell you, I was prepared for every single hearing and every single deposition, and I was raring to go.
I love
So
it.
if there's any young attorneys out there listening that, you know, stress out about that, you can match up against anybody in the whole country.
Absolutely.
with a law degree.
Absolutely. That's right. It's like last time I checked, you know, we both have a law degree. Last time I checked, you know, we both passed the bar. You've just been doing this longer than I have. Okay, but you know, let's go.
Underestimated.
I was going to say doing med mal definitely has threw me into that, because it's like, not only am I going up against the experienced defense attorney, I'm going up against the doctor. I'm like, I do not have a medical degree, but you damn sure I've, you know, researched the heck out of these issues before coming to ask you about them. So
That's right. That's right. And that is empowering. It's just empowerment in itself. Walking in, knowing that you are prepared, knowing that that you got it. You know what I mean? And
You left it all on the court.
Yeah, you left it all on the court.
I left everything on the court. I did.
That's right. And they may never tell you, but I can guarantee when you leave that deposition or that hearing or whatever, they respect you, you know, because I mean, you showed up prepared, you got what you needed, and on to the next.
they won't underestimate you again.
That's right. Lesson learned.
I love it.
Don't you
Amber,
forget it.
I was going to say, I want to hear about what your plans are for the future for Amber Hall Law. Are you wanting to grow your business and expand it, or you like having it as a sole practitioner?
Well, I think growth is always good. Growth is good because the goal, even before I decided to start a law firm, was to start a business so that I could provide other opportunities for others. You know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the legal field, in the business, at the firm. I mean, that are non-lawyer positions or maybe other lawyers. So I just think it's so many more opportunities that I can provide for people as we continue to grow, you know, to just grow strategically. And, you know, for me, I feel like what I like to do at the firm is maximize the value of a claim. We work these cases up and try to get, you know, the best possible settlement or verdict possible, which does take work. But the flip side of that is I want to help more people. So with that does, you know, come growth. So we'll see. I mean, each day I'm just kind of, you know, working away, you know, trying to get the very best results for my clients. I mean, we've grown. I remember when I had one case, you know, and now, you know, we serve many people in Tallahassee and throughout the state of Florida. So, you know, we'll just keep plugging along and keep fighting for what's right. Like my grandmother used to always say, wrong will stay wrong as long as right stays quiet. So
You have some very inspirational women in your family, it sounds like.
So many pearls of wisdom that you're dropping.
Yes. Tell us about your grandma and your mom.
Yes. So my grandmother is my mother's mom. So she actually had the entrepreneurial spirit. She is from Sawdust, Florida, outside of Quincy. And she always wanted to start a store, a convenience store, and take it back out to Sawdust. And so later in life, she decided she was going to bring her store, and she did. And it was called Sawdust Supermart. And I remember, I think I was like in middle school, I think when she started it, middle school, and it was just fun to watch. It's like my grandmother is starting a convenience store in Sawdust, and she was just so determined. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of, kind of haters didn't want her to bring the store, a lot of obstacles, and she kept going, like, despite the obstacles. And so I was right there, and my mom was right there with her. My mom is a former inspector general for the state of Florida Department of Environmental Protection. So she's been a boss, like, always out there, working. And so I saw her, I watched her working late, coming home, still taking me to practice, but still being able to manage a lot of people, work with the governors at the time. So very, very strong women who were highly motivational, inspirational, and they worked hard. They just, did the work. So I'm really, really thankful for that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love that now, this next generation, there's so many more female entrepreneurs and females that own businesses for young women to look up to, because it is our generation, you, me, and all of us, right? We're about the same age. It's a new generation where there's just so much more opportunity for women, and we don't feel as alone in fields, right? Like when we went to law school, I think there was 52% of our law class was women. I think that's what the statistic was in our year.
That's right. Majority women, and I was like a year behind y'all, I think. So
yeah,
mine too. And that was 2005 at FSU.
Mm-hmm. So
wow.
So Amber, are you doing anything to mentor? Because it just seems like you'd be such a great, I don't know, person to look up to for young up and coming wannabe lawyer, or really anybody.
I am, and I want to do more of it.
Mentor me. So.
You've got this. You're making it happen, Betsy. Like
I always have a lot to learn from other people.
yeah, and that's the attitude I have as well, is never stop learning. Never stop learning. That's why I love reading the books. I love going to the conferences, because I recognize that, I don't know it all, and neither does anybody else, but we're just all trying to get better every day. And be the best that we possibly can be. But to answer your question, Kimmy, I am trying to do more of that. People just kind of reach out to me through Instagram, Facebook, and, people who are interested in law school. And so I just kind of do it that way, wherever I can, if they want to come shadow or, whatever it is, whatever I can do to help people to know that they can do it, whatever it is, whether it's law school, I don't know, starting a bakery, starting a jewelry line, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. So talk to us a little bit about how you're balancing your life, being a full-time attorney and business owner, right? Your work life with trying to have a social life, trying to not be working 24/7.
It is hard. It is hard. I'm sitting here now, and every day, especially now, we're kind of, still New Year vibes, I guess. We're just getting into March, but I was like, I'm going to try to have a little bit more balance in my life in 2022. But I can tell you now, just the other day, I pulled an all-nighter, and I was like, you have already failed the mission. Like, but it's okay.
Behind in law school, what are we doing?
Right. It's a lot, You're trying to prepare lots of cases because of COVID, the backlog that we're all experiencing. And so, those cases are set for trial. You've got, last minute, whatever you're trying to do to prepare. But the way that I do it is a lot of the conferences that I go to, I'm working, but at least I'm in a different city typically. And I'll go to a restaurant that I like. I'm a foodie, like foodie. That's my thing. So that's what I like to do for fun, is go eat good food. So like when I saw Kia in Atlanta, I was like, oh yeah, I'm there. I love Atlanta. I used to live there. I know all the spots. I'm gonna go. And that's gonna be my little balance. Even though I work, even though I listen to people talk about marketing and advertising, I was able to kind of strike a little bit of a balance, catch up with some friends there, but then still, get back to the grind. So that's normally what I do. Haven't taken a vacation in a while, I will say, but I do try to take, a day or two to sharpen the saw and then, get back on. But balance is key. I think you do have to take a break. You have to take some time to step back, do what you like to do. And I think that gives you the energy to keep grinding, to keep, working hard. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I know Jimmy's always telling me, he's like, Kimmy, you need to take a vacation. I'm like, I can't take a vacation.
Right. I'm telling you, I feel you. But when you think about it, it's like you probably, you can squeeze it in. It's just, a whole lot of planning that goes into it. But for me, it's like I'm never without a laptop, or two, actually, just in case the first one fails, gives me technical difficulties, I'm gonna have to.
There is stress preparing for it and stress coming back with all the shit that you missed, but it is worth it. You guys have got to do it.
I know. Rose just came back from Alaska, which is why I have the Aurora Borealis.
Yes.
Get your vacation. 1 week will not kill you. I promise.
How was it, Rose?
It was awesome. I could have stayed 3 more weeks, which I can't do, obviously. But 1 week I could spare.
Rose, what was your favorite thing? Was it the dog sled?
Oh, the dog sledding was amazing. That was so wild. I never imagined it would be that smooth. That these 10 little dogs, they're not big dogs. They're not like the big, Malamutes or Huskies. They're like little 40-pound dogs, can pull you and do it all day and be happy. So
wow.
They have their calling, we just find ours, be that happy doing what we're doing all day. So
yeah,
that's amazing.
Well, Kia, what are you thinking?
So just to kind of flip it, we're in Women's History Month right now, right? So what do you feel like are some of the most significant barriers that females or women, step into coming into this industry? Even if you haven't experienced it, what are some of them?
That's a great question. I guess just kind of like the old way of thinking that women just are not good enough, are not smart enough, are, cannot get the results. And I think we all know that that's, it's absolutely untrue. In fact, I believe if you really want to get something done, get a woman on your team. Mm-hmm. Like, that's really it. But I think it's the old way of thinking. Before, there were not, years and years ago, you didn't really have any women attorneys, I can remember when I first started, I had a male attorney tell me, it was kind of interesting conversation. We were trying to get something done, but he goes, do you know what you are? And I was like, what is that? He tells me, you're a lady lawyer. I was like, oh yeah? Okay. Thank you, Captain Obvious. I'm a female lawyer.
I got it.
I learned in lady lawyer school, buddy.
Right. But I think it's just the old way of thinking that, women just aren't good enough, so to speak. But that's obviously not true. We're getting things done. We're breaking barriers every single day. And I'm very excited to be on that side, like on the side of, moving us forward. That's what we're doing. So.
Absolutely.
I love it. I want to answer that question a little bit too, Kia.
Yeah.
I was hoping for the whole panel.
Yeah. So a lot of what I used to get, and it's not as much anymore, was that people were like, aren't you 12 years old? Like, how can you represent me? They would always say that. And yes, I do think I'm youthful looking, or I used to be even more so, but it was kind of like they thought I was a baby, just a baby.
Yeah, everyone
Absolutely.
always asks, how long have you been doing this? I'm like 7 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they say that all the time. I love it. It's funny when they say it, even now. like sliding it in there, I've been doing this since 1986, and it's like, cool. I don't know what you want me to say about that, but okay, congratulations, now let's get to work. So it's interesting. And then too, I mean, believe it or not, it's like the mind games, the mind tricks. And so for me, I'm like, well, at the end of the day, you've been doing it longer. That's fine. Congratulations. But we're here and we're going to get this case resolved,
You're doing it better.
So yeah. And a lot of times it's their insecurities too, very respectfully, we kind of all have our insecurities. And so like you were talking about earlier, Rose, Betsy, like when you're preparing and yes, they see, this younger lawyer or female or somebody that they feel is a new attorney, but they see that you're there, you're well prepared. Yeah, sometimes it kind of messes with their mental. And so they're like, wait a minute, I got to say something here. I've been doing this a long time, right?
I got stuff going
to learn that. Like
right.
When people throw shade at you, they're projecting, right? They're projecting their own insecurities.
Right.
I just think that attitude about women kind of pervades not just our industry, but across, boundaries. Is like, and I don't understand it at all. They're like, well, a man has to work to support his family and blah, blah. And a woman is just working because she, I don't know, wants to work. Like, we don't want to work.
Right. Right.
But it's wild to me that like the people that are, pushing that perspective or have that attitude grew up, they're the same age as us, or maybe 10 years, 20 years older than us, but they grew up in the time of dual incomes, of women having to fucking work. So I don't understand where the attitude comes from. And it just persists.
And working because you're good at it, working because you like it, working because this is something that you're killing. Yeah, exactly. You want to reach your highest potential, and you happen to go to law school, get in the arena of personal injury or whatever area of law that it is, and it's like, actually, I think I'm pretty good at this, and I want to get better. So
yeah, I love it. Well, so I want to get back to talking about how you were a basketball all-star. I think that's so cool. And were you in a D1 school? Forgive me, I know nothing about.
Yes. Yes. So D1 school. Yeah. So I was in the ACC. Shout out to the ACC, FSU's in the ACC. And that was like, I see you, Betsy. That was one of the reasons that I wanted to go to Virginia Tech. I wanted to play in a great conference, at the top 3 conference. So it was highly competitive, that's for sure. I played AAU ball, and that is what really helped me to even be seen by the scouts. So another shout out to my mother for going with me to these tournaments on weekends when I know she probably just wanted to chill out, stay in the bed, but she was at every tournament. And that's how I was seen, and I got a lot of offers, but ultimately I decided on Virginia Tech after, visiting the school. They had a great business program. They had a lot of support for women's basketball, a very strong program. So I like the coaching staff and the team. And so ultimately I made my decision, and as an only child coming from Tallahassee, Florida, to say, I'm going to go to Virginia Tech. I think my parents were like, really? Like, why is she? But they were very supportive, very supportive. And I just knew that I really wanted to take it there. I mean, I could have gone to some other schools that weren't in the ACC. And I thought about that. I had that moment. Am I good enough to play in the ACC? But I decided to just, bet on myself. Yeah.
You'll find out.
Yeah, right.
What was it like?
Right. And I don't know, I haven't checked lately, but at one point I was all-time block shots, top 10.
You are
but
still.
I don't know.
You are.
It's been a minute.
I looked it up.
Okay.
Still, and in her very first game, y'all, she narrowly missed a double-double.
So there it is.
She's amazing, guys. And I'm pretty sure you're transitioning all of that over from the court into the courtroom. I think one of the biggest things, especially to women and girls, we drop out of playing sports so quickly because, we don't feel that support. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you said that pulled you into going to Virginia Tech. So and going back kind of like to what Betsy said about motivating our girls that are coming up behind us. No, I'm not an attorney, but I am in PR. And who would have thought that I would be working at a law office for PR, right? So what would be some of the things that you would tell those girls coming up behind you? Number one, about it's playing sports and transitioning into the next stage that you're going to do. What would you tell
them? To definitely consider it. I'll say that. Consider playing a sport because it really, really does provide a lot of opportunities for you. I had the opportunity to, I moved to another state. So that was one. And I got a taste of what it's like to live in Blacksburg, Virginia. And that's a change. It's a change from Tallahassee. It's another college town, but it's much smaller. I got a chance to go to Greece, to go to Italy. Amazing opportunity to play, overseas briefly while we were over there. An opportunity to play with other very talented women from everywhere. An opportunity to work with people. And it teaches you so much about life. So much that I learned as an athlete. It just taught me life principles, of being a hardworking individual, being persistent, having courage, not just, throwing in the towel after maybe you caught a loss. You can't just say, oh, I give up, I'm done playing basketball now, we just lost that game. No, now let's go back to the drawing board and see what we can do to get better. So, it teaches you a lot about life and provides a lot of opportunities. Even some of the areas I was thinking about working in, I had no idea until I went and I played at Virginia Tech. I didn't think about being an athletic director when I was in elementary school or, middle school. But when I went to Virginia Tech, there's a completely different world. And you're looking at all these people that work in sports, these executive positions, working with the NCAA, being a commentator. And you get to see that stuff, firsthand. So I absolutely encourage any who are interested in playing sports at the next level to go for it.
And I think that, we do so much in our culture, in our society of like, everything you do has to be like end game. Like, if you're not going to be a concert pianist, don't bother with the piano. If you're not going to be in the NBA, don't bother with basketball. But you can learn so much from those experiences.
Learn my favorite concept, Rose, which is teamwork.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Teamwork.
Do it.
Teamwork.
Teamwork is under pressure. Like when you're at the free throw line, you got to concentrate. When you're standing up in front of a dais of judges, you've got to concentrate. It teaches you those life skills. And I didn't play basketball at the level you did, but I still remember, that those lessons from, high school. And I encourage my kids to do sports because you're right. You're learning things that you can carry your whole life, and you can actually play the sport your whole life. It can bring you joy your whole life.
That's right.
And so there's so much more than just the end game, like you said, Rose. It's not the end game. It's the journey that you learn.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the journey.
Absolutely. And it provides you with that support system and the network of people that are surrounding by you, from your coach all the way down to but a teen mom or a teen dad. You keep those relationships and they assist you in being able to get where you need to go, because you reach back out to them and say, hey, what should I do next because this has occurred. So I think that's great, as far as teamwork and funneling it down.
Yeah, your network, Amber, you must have a huge network with
huge. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Basketball alums and that and the fans and everybody else that you met through that experience. And
yes, it's amazing. And that's what I love too about social media now, being able to keep up with people a little bit more. You can see what everyone's doing. Made me smile the other day, just looking at the team, Virginia Tech. I want to say we won against, it was UNC. Like, team is doing really well. Shout out to Virginia Tech Hokies women's basketball team. Y'all are killing it. But I was just looking at them in the highlights on Instagram, and I'm like, this team has grown so much. The support, I'm looking at the booster club members that were there still, and so it's amazing to see. And that's what it's all about, the networking. I was thinking about that too, just even getting the job that I had, networking, as many applications that I submitted and as many interviews that I went on, it boiled down to networking. I knew somebody who knew somebody, and then, you just make it happen. So networking is key. That's a great point.
Absolutely. Be a part of something, once you're a part of it, as long as you keep it up, keep up with those people, you're a part of it forever.
That's right.
So I have to ask, what is a double-double?
Double-double. So I remember that game too. So I had like 9 points, and I think I had 9 rebounds. And really what I needed was 10 points, 10 rebounds in order to have a double-double, or 10 assists, but you just got to get to the double digits in 2 categories. So then it'd be a double-double.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know either.
Yeah.
9 blocks on that game, guys. So she was really close.
Yeah. Man, I remember the adrenaline, and it's so funny. I had a trial in October, and man, talk about adrenaline rush. It just took me back to playing ball, big game, especially my freshman year when we ended up playing UConn. I think it was the second round. If you're familiar with women's basketball out there, UConn is always amazing. So we lost that game. Yeah, we lost that game, but it's okay. We showed up, we played, we worked hard, and it was a great experience.
Absolutely.
Well, y'all, we're closing in on the end of the hour, so I want to send it around for kind of final last thoughts or questions. Let's start with Rose.
Yeah, I've just had a really good time this evening. I know I've seen you around at FJA events, and I think we've had some cases where we both represent people who have been in global mediations or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's really nice getting to know you a little bit better, and hopefully we will have the opportunity to work together again. This has been fun.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure, Rose. Always a pleasure to see you. So hopefully I see you soon.
All right, Betsy, what are your final thoughts?
You have just really enjoyed our talk. This has been super fun, and thank you for being on our show. You're the definition of an empowered woman, and you have shown us that today, and it's just been a pleasure getting to meet you, and I hope I get to see you again very, very soon.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much, Betsy, for that. I appreciate it.
Maybe you can email me any book suggestions that you have. Right now, I'm reading 2 separate books on Supreme Court justices, which we didn't get to talk about today, but that's obviously huge news for all of us.
Yes.
The recent nominees. So
yes.
I wish we'd gotten to get into that more, but yeah, I would love to know what you're reading, because I'm always looking for suggestions. It sounds like
Absolutely.
You and your long lost best reading friends.
For sure. I'll send you what I'm reading, Betsy. And it was very nice to meet you. We'll certainly keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Kia?
So yes, I just want to say thank you. I think I keep getting more confirmation, especially working with these ladies here. I have been avoiding law school so much. But doing my research on all of these women and working with them, and now getting even more, inspired by what you're doing, because one of the biggest things you were thinking about was, consulting and negotiating contracts and all that other great stuff. That was some of the major things that I said I wanted to do. I did not want to do defense, and I did not want to do plaintiff law. I was like, let me just look over this contract. You either go to, camp, or I'll be like, you need to get to camp because you're out too long. So I think I just keep getting all these affirmations, and I'm so excited about being around you women. And I do hope that we can continue to build a relationship together in the future. In regards to anything. I thank you for the amazing things that you're doing and how you're moving. And even from the diversity part of it all, seeing you up on those billboards, it's good because, my girls can now see someone that looks like them on billboards. And again,
you.
women and working here and how the women are doing such amazing things. I just thank you for coming on and showing how you're maneuvering through all of your game plan every day and allowing the women here, myself included, to be able to pick your brain. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kia. I really appreciate that. Yes. And if I can ever do anything, you let me know. I'm here. And like Rose, like you talked about, we're in this together. We are on the same team.
Absolutely.
We're all fighting for what's right. So, we're resources. So, I'm really, really looking forward to us continuing to work together in the future.
I love it. Well, I feel like we should end it with a gator chop. What do you think?
And it's like I always do that, and I'm like, but I got love for my Seminoles too. But
me too. All right, we can do both. We can do them both.
Right. But shout out to the Knowles too, though. Shout out to the Knowles. I'll do that.
I love it.
And Rattlers too. Go Rattlers. Go Rattlers.
I love it. Well, thank you, Amber. We really appreciate you being on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, y'all. Enjoy your evening.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.